Welcome to another episode of Merge Extra. Today, we have Najeeb al Balushi with us. She is the founder of Celebrate Oman. Under that, you may have seen Muscat Eat, the Sur Al Hadid Beach Festival. There was also a Ramadan night market, yes, I believe. So Sarah's here with us today. First, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And second, I'll have you introduce yourself first before you start telling us about that journey.
Sure. So, Sarah Najeeb al Balushi. I'm a wife. I'd like to start with that. A wife, a mother. And I've got more than 15 years of experience in the hospitality and tourism and banking industry. Mm-hmm. So I started my journey with Celebrate Oman, as you said, in 2017. The journey started with Muscat Eat, where it was an idea that was created while I was just sitting down and thinking, you know, we need to promote Oman. One. Two, we need more festivals in this country. As Omanis, we come together for food, mm-hmm, right? We celebrate through food. Food is the most important. Food brings us together, right? And I said, why not have a food festival in the country where we're able to bring everybody together and also promote our country through our, you know, rich culture, heritage, and diverse food that we have to offer.
Okay. Before we get into like whole Muscat Eats and by the way, just like a disclaimer, I kept saying Muscat Eats, which I believe a lot of us say Muscat Eats. Can you tell us what it actually is?
So EAT is actually an acronym. I get that a lot, by the way. A lot of people keep on saying eats, and I keep on telling them it's EAT. So I've not actually come back and actually explained what it means. So EAT is an acronym. E means experience, A means aspirations, and T means togetherness. So the whole objective of Muscat Eat is based on experience. One, I want to showcase my country to the world. Mm-hmm. Aspirations, job opportunities, knowledge sharing, etc. And three is togetherness, to bring people together. So that's the whole idea of the Eat.
Okay, so you guys, it's Muscat Eat, not Muscat Eats, and she actually gave you a full background of why it's Muscat Eat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
MashaAllah, I actually remember was it last year? The last edition that was held?
Yes, so it's on a yearly basis.
Yeah. Okay. Big crowd. Can you go into a bit of the numbers that we've seen over the years with Muscat Eat?
Sure. So Muscat Eat, as I said, started in 2017. That was the first edition. Okay. So we started with 50 participants, if I can just say, which are food vendors. And we had around 15,000 people attending over 3 days. Mm-hmm. Muscat Eat has evolved into moving all over Oman. So we had Muscat, we had Suhar, we had Salala. Mm-hmm. So till date, we've pulled in more than 800,000 visitors just through the Eat brand, just through the Muscat Eat brand. Not
so considering this is over all the years, or you mean this year alone?
Over all the years, but just that one festival that happens on a yearly basis once a year. And then, of course, Suhar and Salala, that also happens in that year. Mm-hmm. But this is apart from the other festivals that happen. So I'm just giving you the number of the food festival.
Okay.
Right? If I get into the other numbers, which I wanted to highlight, is one is 800,000 visitors.
Okay.
Two, the average spend per person has been 20 Omani riyals. Nice. That has contributed to the in-country value more than 1.6 million Omani riyals.
In this 3-day festival?
Yes, that's it. So it's been massive. It's been growing on a yearly basis.
Okay.
Throughout the years, we've worked with more than 1,500 Omani SMEs. We have employed more than 120 Omani part-time employees. We have worked with more than 600 Omani volunteers. Mm-hmm. So this food festival itself is actually, ticking all the boxes of Vision 2040, if I can say.
Okay. When you first started, were these goals in mind, or did it come out as this as the years went by?
Honestly, when I started, it was just, as I said, for the love of my country and to promote our country through food tourism. Okay. Right? So when I started working on the feasibility, the idea, the concept, this was the idea from day one. And actually, I wanted, when I had my first meeting, if I can say, with SME Development Riyadh, mm-hmm, I told them that I want this to be called Oman Eat, because that is the objective. I want it to be called Oman's National Food Festival. And alhamdulillah, it's been 6 years now, and it is the National Food Festival.
I will wait for it every year.
Thank you.
Especially because we noticed that it grows.
Yes.
Like, for example, I remember a couple of years back, we were shocked at how many new food trucks were actually participating, how many new restaurants.
Yes.
There were even more events than the times before.
Yes.
So it's actually growing at a very fast pace.
It is. So every year what I try to do is come up with a different theme. We try to add, so now we're at 3 weekends. We started with 1 weekend. And now this year, inshallah, it's going to be for 3 weekends because it's never enough. Participants, vendors, visitors, sponsors, they all say, Sarah, 3 weekends or 1 weekend or 2 weekends is not enough. So I've decided to go up to 3 weekends now.
Okay.
And it is growing because there is a need, So end of the day, I see the need. I see the people coming up to me. And for me, it's a moment of pride when I see the roads getting blocked. I know it's not nice for the ROP.
Okay, I love that. It's a moment of pride to see the roads getting blocked, although I understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, so I'm all over the place, right? So you'll see me at the ticket counter, you'll see me everywhere. So I actually walk down the road. So when I have people calling me and telling me, Sarah, what have you done? That itself for me is a moment of pride, and I laugh and I tell them I'm so sorry, but there is a demand and the demand increases. And if I get enough parking, bigger space. So now we're operating at around 12,000 square meters. I keep on telling, I work very closely with the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism and also Muscat Municipality. And I keep telling them, I just want a piece of land. I don't want any grass on it. I have around 15,000 square meters of AstroTurf,
Okay.
So just give me a space, give me enough parking, and I will make it happen for you. So the more parking, the more visitors come up. So every weekend now we've got 35,000 people attending.
35,000 people per weekend?
Per weekend.
MashaAllah.
At this point. And if I am, and this is apart from the people who have to turn away because they didn't find parking or it's so packed and the roads are blocked.
Okay.
I have a very friendly relationship with the ROP now because, every time I submit a letter for a permit for a festival or an event, they're like, Sarah, tell us actually how many people are going to attend so we prepare ourselves.
My God. By the way, I remember last time, we were at this point of do we turn away? And then we decided, we had to come up with this decision that we'll just park very far away.
And walk
because first of all, we're going to go eat.
Yeah.
So first, we're going to exercise before and after, to burn off all the food we're going to eat.
Yeah.
But we made up our own thing just to be able to go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay. Muscat Eat, huge thing. I'm sure as we discuss this is probably one of the most things you'll be known for.
Yes.
Okay. However, that's not only what you do.
No.
Okay. Can you tell us the other festivals, carnivals that came under Celebrate Oman, which is the company that you founded?
Sure.
Wait, before that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what Celebrate Oman is?
Sure.
Okay.
So Celebrate Oman, so I started with Muscat Eat, as I said, right?
Okay.
Any other festival that I would do post Muscat Eat, people would call it Muscat Eat.
Okay.
So for example, I did Sur Al Hadid Beach Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
That is Oman's only and first and only beach carnival. And there was a video that then went really viral where people were saying Muscat Eats Sur Al Hadid Carnival. And,
was it based on food trucks
no,
and all that
it wasn't.
stuff?
It was food.
Okay.
There was a very big, very mesmerizing and big market.
Okay.
It had different entertainment. It was at the beach.
But it was still called Muscat
Muscat Eats Sur Al Hadid Carnival.
Okay.
So I sat down and thought, Sarah, what are you doing? People still, as I said, people still call me Sarah Muscat Eat, right? But why am I doing what I'm doing? Right? Is it just an event? Is it just something that happens on a yearly basis? Or what do you want to do with this company? Right? And that's when I started putting down, what I really wanted, so the love for food tourism, the love to promote the country, empower Omanis, contribute to the economic growth. And as a person, I love bringing people together. I love to see people happy. That is the biggest joy of my life. If I'm able to make somebody happy, it's just, I have no words for that. So end of the day, I thought of the name, so the name Celebrate Oman came up.
Okay.
Because what am I doing?
Okay.
I'm celebrating our country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm celebrating our people. I'm celebrating our rich culture. Mm-hmm. So it's a celebration.
Okay.
And, when you come to my event or my festival, everybody's happy.
No,
everybody's smiling.
Uh-huh.
It's very positive. And that's what I want to do. I want to spread positivity.
Okay.
And through these festivals, I am spreading a lot of positivity. People are coming there to have a good time, to meet friends, to have, to watch the shows, etc. Come with their kids and families. Do something different at the weekend.
Uh-huh.
So people are coming together. So the purpose of coming together spreading positivity, promoting our culture. Like I'm promoting, end of the day, so Celebrate Oman decided I started putting down the brands that I would like to create under it. Muscat, of course, was one of it. Then there was Sur Al Hadid Beach Carnival. Then I created another festival called Flavor Oman that was targeted towards Omani food, where we worked with the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, and we represented 4 different muhafadat and actually got worked with very closely with Omani Women's Association from each muhafada, and showcased and represented Omani food from each muhafada, right?
Okay.
And there was Omani heritage, culture, shows, etc. that were showcased over there. Then I created a food truck carnival. Then I created a Ramadan night market. I've also created multiple festivals or carnivals across the country, Masendem, Baremi. So I've been all over Oman. So I think we're the sole and premier company that actually has been all over Oman and organizing festivals. There's a lot of information.
No, it is a lot of information, but it's a lot of good information. Yeah. One of the things that came to my mind is how it surprises me that it's still tied to Muscat Eid, because it's a variety of different things. So from a Ramadan night market to a beach carnival, these are quite different. How would you break from the image of only being known for Muscat Eid? Because other than by doing all these different things.
Yes.
Like, I wonder from your perspective, like, how would you break from that?
I mean, it's just, for me, it's very important now is for people to understand what Celebrate Oman is about.
So through things like this, by promoting awareness.
To promoting awareness, right?
Okay.
I'm somebody, as I said, I'm very shy. I don't like to come in front of the camera. I like my work to speak for itself.
Okay.
It's been, like 2 years back, for example, I was invited by Dubai Tourism during Expo. And they knew about Muscat Eid, right?
Okay.
And they said, Sarah, we want you to promote Dubai Food Festival and become our ambassador, because Muscat Eid is so big. And, our target audience for Dubai Food Festival are Omanis. And I was shocked. I said, really? They said, yes. From the GCC, our number one priority is given to Omanis. We would, and because they're the highest number of visitors that come to Dubai, right?
Every time we have a holiday, go look at the borders. Just go to the border and you get stuck for at least an hour.
Yeah, and it's just 4 hours away. So I like to go with my kids to Dubai. Like this weekend, I'm like, let's go for 2 days, right?
Okay.
So they wanted me to promote Dubai Food Festival, and I said, I'm not an influencer. I said, it's okay. We'll create an influencer page for you. You become our ambassador. Because the brand is so well known that we want you to come out. We will help you to come out and start talking.
Okay.
But I felt even at that point, I wasn't ready.
Okay.
And I said, you know what, Sarah, I want to give myself more time to really bring the brand to a level that I can start speaking, as I said, achievements, numbers, impacts.
Okay.
Once I'm able to speak about all these aspects, then I'm ready to come in front of the camera and start talking about, what the brand is about, what I'm about, and what work am I actually doing. You know?
So now.
Yes.
Now you're ready.
I'm ready.
You've had the achievements.
Alhamdulillah.
Any one in particular that you'd like to mention other than the amazing numbers you told us?
See, one of the biggest achievements for me is actually when I've seen home businesses convert to SMEs and startups.
That's happened under these
festivals. Nice. I've seen more than 50.
Wow.
That for me is massive.
Okay. It's had that big of an impact to help.
Exactly. Because I'm blessed to be able to give a platform to these home businesses, Omani home businesses, where they're able, because you're directly in front of your customer, right? Okay. You learn so many things just during these 3 days or 6 days or 9 days. You're learning about numbers. You're learning about employment. You're learning about your food costs. You're learning about multiple things. And you're actually face to face with your customer. So they're getting to taste your product and you're getting instant feedback from them, right? And that encourages them that, okay, my product is that good, and I'm ready, Okay. So that for me is one of my biggest achievements, to be able to witness that and to support that,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's also an achievement for the business owners themselves and also for the country.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So these are quite big achievements.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Switching gears slightly, but it's something you mentioned,
sure.
Like while we were speaking right now.
Yeah.
You said you're shy.
Yes.
You mentioned to me before you're an introvert.
Yes, I am.
The link between that
yes.
and you being an Sort of managing big events and
Yes.
all, being in contact with so many people.
Yes.
How do you balance that? Being an introvert in a field like this?
It's a very interesting and good question.
Mm.
It took me a while.
Okay.
It took me a bit of time to balance that. Nobody believes me that I'm an introvert. I've actually had to actually make people sit down and say, I am an introvert. I do not like to, I'm very shy. And I was given another term, by the way, by one of my friends. And the person said, you're an extroverted introvert.
Have you heard of the term ambivert?
No.
An ambivert is an introverted extrovert.
So I think
it's
that's
like a somewhere in the...
So I'm somewhere in the middle. So I can switch
There we
off and
go.
switch on when I need to, right?
Okay.
So when I am done with my work, when I'm home, when I'm with my family, I just like to be home, right?
Okay.
But when I'm out, I love to speak. Yes, I enjoy speaking, but not in public spaces where I have to stand and So when I was in Bank Muscat, so when I was working back around 10 years back,
In the
12
banking
in the
sector?
banking sector, I was
Okay.
part of the HR department. So I was working and studying at the same time.
Okay.
So I was actually put into different departments, right? And I think my boss, and I'm still very much in touch with him, he actually put me into training. And I used to tell him that, sir, I'm not, I can't train people. Like, I can't stand in front of GMs and train them about performance appraisals. I can't do that. And he's like, you can, So actually, at that point, that was the time where I realized that, okay, he put me through all of that. I had to train GMs. I had to go through multiple courses. I had to work on handbooks. I had to, handle grievances, right?
Okay.
Through that experience, I learned that, okay, you can switch on and switch off. And that
Okay.
gave me that skill, if I can say that I can do that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So despite the fact that you are an introvert
Yeah.
and may remain an introvert,
Yeah.
life experience, work experience
Yes.
has taught you to be able to
Yes.
switch on and off.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so people believe her when she says I have actually seen that.
Yeah.
And I'm an extrovert. Okay. But I do understand because I'm around a lot of introverts and I do see this ability
Yeah.
to switch on and off with some of them, especially
Yeah.
those who've actually been taught.
Yes.
Because like you said, I think sometimes it is a skill.
it is a skill.
It is a skill.
I always say it's a skill. You have to be taught, right? And then, of course, when I'm around people, etc., I have to, especially when I go for partnerships or business
Okay.
development, right?
Uh-huh.
I have to sit down and convince people. And it's like, how they say actors are introverts?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Right? I didn't believe that until I had to start, working on partnerships.
Okay.
Because, when you're sitting down and presenting something, you want that other person to believe in this the way you believe in it.
Okay.
So it's an act.
That makes sense. That makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense. Okay. Since this is a Omani Women's Day
Yeah.
episode, I have to get into the
Sure.
fact that you are doing the amount of work you do.
Yes.
I'm sure you're not working like 5 hours a day.
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
You are working very long hours.
Yes.
Your work takes up a lot of your time.
It does.
And you are in talks with a lot of people.
Yes.
How has it been being a woman in this field?
Yes.
Especially as you first introduced yourself. You said, I'm a wife.
Yeah.
You said, I'm a mother.
Yeah.
And then you introduced yourself professionally.
Yes.
How do you balance between that?
Yeah.
And how do you go about your day to day? Like, have you struggled being a woman in this field as an entrepreneur?
I won't have struggled.
Okay.
Right. I mean, it comes in with its challenges.
Okay.
Right. I think the most important thing for a woman to be taught needs to teach herself is time management.
Okay.
And it took me a bit of time to actually work on my time management.
Okay.
Because, for me, the most important thing in my life is my family, my husband and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
My work I'm extremely passionate about it. They all know it. My family, my father, my mother, my siblings, they all know this, right?
Okay.
But I know that, okay, as a woman, what my responsibilities are towards my family. And I
Okay.
need to make sure that I fulfill them and then also fulfill my own passion and
career aspirations and all.
aspirations, etc. Right?
Okay.
So, for example, I drop my kids till date. So I have 2 kids, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I drop them to school every morning.
Okay.
And then I start my day after dropping them to school. I pick them up from school. I take them to all their activities. I make sure I have lunch with them.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure I have, we do all our activities, homework, etc. I put them to sleep and then continue my, the rest of the night with my meetings, etc. So I make sure I tick all these boxes. A lot of people say hire a driver. Why are you dropping them? Because sometimes like my son finishes at 3:45, my daughter finishes at 3. I have to leave for school at 2:00. So from 2 to 4:30, I'm stuck.
Because of the traffic?
Because of the traffic. It's unbelievable.
Okay. From 2 until 3.
Yes. It takes
and then
me.
you wait another for the 3:45.
Then I need another 45 minutes at the school for my son. And then bring him home, have a quick lunch with them again, because they've had lunch in school, then I make sure they have lunch again. Have lunch with them, manage their work, go for a quick hour meeting, because at that 1 hour, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to study. They don't want to talk about studies. They just want to play. So while they're playing outside, I do another meeting or finish my emails, whatever I have to do, and then, take it from there. But it takes that much of my time. But end of the day, those 4 hours are so important to spend with my children per day, because I know that's the time they'll speak to me. They'll actually talk to me. Apart from that, they all have their own, children have their own lives. And these are the years that as a mother, I need to be there. I need to make sure that I'm not missing out on any activity, on any, school function, assemblies.
Growth development.
It's very, very important. And, as a woman, I understand that. And I know, and I can see a sense of pride in my children. They know that, okay, she's at work, and she's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and she has to work really, really hard in order to achieve what she wants to achieve. And that's a learning that I want my daughter and my son to understand, that, women, they can, we're very strong. We're built to be multitaskers. We are.
Okay, something struck me as you said that, because I honestly, I wasn't expecting that answer. I'll be very honest. Yeah. But one thing that struck me, because I've had, alhamdulillah, it's a blessing for me as a woman who's growing up in society.
Yeah.
I've had a number of strong women very close to me.
Yeah.
Like either, for example, maybe it was a coach, maybe it was my mom, maybe it was something. But I noticed all of them, including you, I'm counting you as one of the strong women, mashallah.
Thank you.
You all mentioned that despite everything we see you doing in your careers or in your, for example, the athletes, whatever, they always go back and say, but my priority is my children, and I time everything around that.
Yeah.
That balance, I don't know why it shocks me, because my idea would be that you have to, I would assume that it's your career that's taking first place because of what we see on the outside. But then in reality, a lot of strong women actually mention that my home is my priority, and then what comes after is this.
Yes.
And there's a strength in being able to balance it in that way.
Yes.
A strength that I will admit I haven't found yet. But مثلا, mashallah, to hear women like you, I do believe it's inspirational to other women who are trying to find that.
I want to say this. I recently heard this thing, and I really, and it actually hit me.
Okay.
A turning point in any woman's life is when she realizes her strength and independence.
Okay, that's quite strong.
What that basically means is that, when women are supposed to be capable, women are supposed to be intellectual, and women are supposed to be financially independent, right? Yeah. When you realize as a woman, one, your strength through your capabilities and, the abilities and the work that you're putting in, and especially the most important thing for me is your financial independence. When you actually know that, that'll change everything around you. You become you feel complete. You're able to balance out. You know that what your priorities are, because your concentration is not on things that you're not supposed to be concentrating on. Right?
Okay.
Right. So financial independence for me is the most important thing. And end of the day, when you realize these two aspects, that's a turning point in your life as a woman.
Okay. Why do you say that? Why financial independence? Why did you give that the most importance?
Because you're not depending on anybody for your finances.
Okay.
Right.
And finances rule a big part of your life?
It does. It does. So I think, I was recently talking to my mother, for example, and I said, we are blessed to be in a country where we are provided education system that we have, right? It's very important for us to work on our daughters and on their education. The same way we're investing on our sons, we have to invest the same in our girls, right? If you're educated, it's a partnership.
Okay.
When you get married, for me, marriage is a partnership. It's not fair. Why is the man expected to financially take care of everything?
Okay.
Right? When you're educated and when you know that, I have my own money and I'm not depending on him
to
provide for me, I can provide for myself. it actually gives you a strength, which is just, I mean, I can't even describe it, because you're not depending on somebody else. And then you look for other things, you want to be with your partner for him, not because you're financially depending on him. Because a lot of women, unfortunately, get married or, because they need somebody to depend on financially, right? That's one major aspect. Even though there are some women who are educated and they've not actually gone back and worked and started to invest in that, right? I always say this, become financially independent, because once you have that, you're in a relationship or a partnership for the right reasons.
Financial independence.
Yes.
As a woman.
Yes.
I'm interested in hearing your opinion on a topic because of the fact that many people say, despite the fact that now, for example, society has changed.
Yes.
It's no longer man is the main provider, woman stays at home, does everything, and she takes care of the home while the man is out together.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that society has changed, there are still some things that seem to not have changed. So man still wants to be the main provider, and a woman still automatically will be more of the homemaker, exactly.
Yes.
When you say you're financially independent,
yes,
does that mean, for example, that women should not allow the man to be the main provider? And if yes, does that affect the relationship dynamic? Because technically, despite societal changes, the woman is still the main homemaker, man is still the main provider.
Yes.
Okay, are you talking a shift in being the main provider, or are you talking in that, main provider, however, she can still pay for her own stuff if she wants to? So, from your perspective.
Okay, so from my perspective, so men are built to be providers. Okay. Right. That's
one thing that hasn't changed despite societal changes.
It hasn't, right?
Okay.
And I understand that. Okay, men are built this way. Khalas, we get it, right? But I always have this argument with men, elderly men, where I say that, they are built this way, yes. I'm not saying we shouldn't allow them to be the provider or the main provider. But why not, if we can help out or contribute to a few things? Wouldn't that be nice?
But not to be the main one.
Not to be the main one.
Unless you have to.
Unless I have to, which is, to be honest, we have to be fair, right? End of the day, if I am in a position where hasn't he always provided? Haven't men always provided? So if women have to contribute sometimes, what's the harm in it? What's wrong in it?
No, I do agree with that.
We shouldn't have, yes, I do understand some men have this ego, or even women, that, why should I? Or he would say, no, you're the woman, you shouldn't. It hurts. It's an ego thing, right? Yeah. It's a pride thing.
Especially when you're a career-driven woman, for example.
Especially when you're a career-driven woman, right? I always say this. I say this to my husband, that, it's not my money or your money. It's our money.
Okay. Partnership.
It's a partnership. Yes, you want to provide, you're more than welcome to provide, but I want to help out. I'm educated. Why was I sent to one of the best schools? Why was I sent to a very good university? Why did I start working? Yes, because I'm career oriented, but then what? Am I not supposed to assist or help out? Because it's a partnership. Aren't you supposed to do that in any partnership? Not a marriage, but any other partnership. You're supposed to contribute, right? He may be contributing. I'm not saying it should be 50-50. Okay. Right? It doesn't necessarily have to be 50-50. Again, it's on the understanding. The men and it's just, it comes down to understanding. Right? Okay. That, is it going to be 50-50, or no, you take care of the 20% and I'll take care of the 80%. Right? And it just comes down to that. It's not about, again, it's not about allowing, or he's the main provider or I'm the main provider. It's a partnership. Okay. And I think it's very, very important at this day and age, because there's a lot of, I'm a woman, but I'm not a feminist. Okay. Because I understand the role of a man and the role of a woman. Okay. Right? We're built differently. We have our strengths and men have their strengths, right? And we are supposed to work together. Okay. It just comes down to that. And I feel like that is if I can say, the recipe of a good marriage or a partnership. Okay. Where you understand this, that, there are days, wouldn't he support you if you're in financial trouble one day? He would.
Okay.
So if he's in financial trouble one day and he's not able to provide, what's the harm? You should.
Because as you kept saying, you mentioned a number of times the word partnership.
It's a partnership. And once you understand that and know that, automatically it won't be a problem. It's a contribute. You know that this is this is what we both need to do. Like right now, we both have to work to be able to provide to provide a good future for our children.
Okay.
They're our children. They're not his children. I always say this. They're not his children or my children. They're our children. We both have to work really hard to give them a certain future that we both aspire for them to have.
Okay.
Right? So we both should work towards it, not him only.
That's true.
Right? So it's just a personal opinion. I know a lot of people may disagree, but I feel like it's a partnership at the end of the day. I've repeated it multiple times, but it comes down to that.
Okay, and another thing you mentioned, I believe this was mentioned before the cameras are off, before the cameras were on, but it is related to this topic, is that each couple should understand their own dynamic. So you were saying that they should take the time to understand each other, and with that, everything else falls in place.
Yes.
Okay, so that falls as well. You can see who should provide what percentage, who should do what part, and whatever. This will come with time once you guys understand each other.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to point out, the other day, I saw this really interesting video. I forgot the name of the woman, but she said marriage is not always 50-50.
Oh, I saw that, yes.
Have you seen that?
Tell about the clip.
It was so interesting for me, and actually it made so much sense. The marriage is not always 50-50. There are days he will put in 80% and you will have to put in the 20%, but there are days he will just put in 30% and you will have to put in the 70%. And that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to complete each other, right?
That's
so there
true.
are days that he is not able to, or I'm not able to. We're supposed to understand and complete each other in that, right?
Yep. And I saw something that followed. So I saw this video, and then a bit after that, I actually saw one that talked about if you keep score.
Yeah.
So for example, let's say this week it happened that you did all the dishes and he did all the other stuff, for example, or he didn't really do that much and he was kind of down and you had to take on more of the work, or vice versa. Yeah. If you keep the score, when it comes time later where he actually has done more of the work, it's going to be a battle between like, I did this more than you, well, I did this more than you.
Exactly.
Where, as you said, it is not a balance. You can never fight about something that's not balanced, because when there is clear balance in something, like someone is doing 60-40 all the time, you can argue about that. Exactly. Like, I always do this, you always do that.
Exactly.
However, when it's like, as you said, 60-40 or 80-20 or on different days, any fight you guys have will not be fair. So keeping score is pointless.
Exactly.
I saw that after I saw this video, which I thought made a lot of sense.
Made a lot of sense, yes.
Exactly.
For sure, yeah.
Okay. I actually enjoyed that little diversion. Back to your career.
Sure.
Okay. I'm interested in what got you in F&B. So from banking, HR you mentioned.
Yes.
To F&B. Why F&B?
So it's an interesting, funny story. It's not a funny story, but it's an interesting story. It's a family business.
Okay.
So I started working in the banking sector. I worked there for 3 good years, then I got married. And then I took a bit of break after getting married because I had to travel a bit, and then give time to my marriage at that point because we just got married, right? And we had to travel. So my a little story about this is we've been part of the F&B industry for more than 50 years, if I can say.
Okay.
So my grandmother was, Allah yarhamha, was the first Omani female entrepreneur. She actually opened the first restaurant in Oman as a female.
What is it called?
Amr al-Khayyam.
Amr al-Khayyam is your family, your grandma, Allah yarhamha?
Yeah, Allah yarhamha.
I actually like that place a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my grandmother, started that with her brother, and then, my uncle took over, and then my father's career is very similar to my career. Okay. And to be honest, it's similar because I've actually followed this path. Right?
Okay.
Very openly, I've told him that I have literally followed your path. So he started his career in the banking sector, and then he got into the family business. So he opened his own restaurant, Golden Spoon.
But I'm sorry, these are restaurants that we like. Okay.
Right. So Golden Spoon Group. So under which, then he created tropical juices and ice cream, etc. Chinatown. So he got into that. So when I decided that, okay, khalas, I was always very ambitious and I always wanted to, work in the banking sector because my father worked in the banking sector. And now I want to get into the F&B industry because that's a family business, and I was very passionate about it as well. And I saw my grandmother. So my grandmother, what I remember of her is a very, very strong lady, a very strong woman, very strong-willed. And at that time, more than 50 years back, to, own your own restaurant, operate it, create it from scratch, that was commendable, And to be able to see that strength at that time,
First Omani woman, yes. Like a very strong entrepreneur at that time.
Exactly, mashallah. At that time, mashallah. So I said, that's something that I aspire to be. I want to be able to do something similar. If not, if I can achieve 1/4 of that, I'll be happy. That's strength.
Okay.
So got into the F&B industry. I opened up a few restaurants myself. My father is a very principled man. I always say this because he did not, a lot of people mistake this that, okay, so she just got into the family business. Must have been very easy. She got everything on a plate.
I've actually heard that a lot.
She must have gotten everything on a silver plate. And, my father said, you want to get into the industry, do it yourself.
Okay.
I'm not going to do anything. You want support? We will support as an office, but you have to pay a management fee, like how you would pay any other office, to help you with your accounts and finance. Operations, you need support. You need to pay this. You need to do this. Do it yourself.
Okay.
So I actually appreciate that because I was 25 when I got into this industry and I said, I enjoy it. I want to do this. And it was a learning process for me. So much like I still do my PRO works myself.
Okay. I'm surprised to hear that.
I still do it.
After everything, mashallah.
I still do it. I still do it. Because for me, it's extremely, extremely important that I know the process. I need to understand the process and know the process. I don't want anybody to come to me and say, no, Sarah's done this way. I will go and do it myself because I want to understand how it's actually done. Right? Till date, I do it. The RP approvals, the municipality approvals. Every approval that you could think of, I do it myself. I submit papers myself. I've been told, Sarah, khalas, you don't need to come. And I'm like, no, إذا في تغير, إذا في شيء that I need to know, I should know it firsthand, right? So I did that all myself, when I got into the F&B industry.
Okay.
So so that was 2011, basically. So 6 years, I still own the restaurants. I own a franchise called Subway. I do have...
I smiled because I lived, like, my university was like...
Subway.
It was like 1 foot long, half for lunch, half for dinner. And I survived university in that way. Okay.
No, I still love... A lot of people have their... constraints regarding Subway. I love Subway personally.
I love Subway. Who doesn't love Subway?
I just, they say the meat that this, that.
I heard my cousin sent me an article. I was like,
forget about it. I love it.
Exactly. Me too.
I know where the meat is coming from. It's fine. The bread is baked fresh. I love their cookies. I love the cookies. Like if
you don't feel guilty eating Subway unless you believe that the meat is from God knows where. But then
we're getting everything from Lebanon, so it's all halal. Okay. And yes, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same thing when it comes down to sausages, etc.
Exactly.
You've got all of that, right? So I don't get too much into it.
No, I love that I'm gonna. My cousin Majda. Yeah. I'm throwing her name out there. She keeps sending me articles about Subway.
Yeah.
Someone who owned Subway franchise or managed a Subway franchises. Okay, has just told you the meat is coming from Lebanon, and she knows what is in the meat. So
yes, it's fine. Okay. It's fine, please. It's completely all right. And we've enhanced the menu. I'm not marketing Subway. But I love the new menu because we've got mozzarella, we've got halloumi cheese.
Really?
Yes. I love the new menu. I
haven't been to Subway in a long time.
Yeah, you should. It's the menu. So for me, Subway is comfort food. Apart from Chinatown and Golden Spoon, that are comfort food also. But then Subway is my comfort food. And Tropical is my father's baby. So he actually, again, the first juice and ice cream. The ice cream is locally made. All the ingredients are local.
And they have really good mango juice, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I think everybody waits for the mango mania. I've been told.
And for me, I love mango juice mal tropical.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I enjoyed that whole process. So in 2017, it's interesting. I told my dad I want to do this.
Masqat eat?
Masqat eat. He said no.
Oppa, why?
It's going to be a fail. He was against it completely. And he said, nobody's going to come to you. I still remind him this and he laughs. Nobody's going to come. Who's going to participate? Who will be the vendors? How are you? It's a ticketed event. Nobody's going to pay 1 riyal to enter.
People love food.
People love food. And look, my concept is very simple. I've had this discussion with the governors and the ministers where they keep, about the ticket price, right? Mm-hmm. And alhamdulillah, I've achieved this ticket issue where I don't know if that is the right word, where it was an issue, it was a challenge, and they've understood. Now they're implementing. If any event that happens through the government, it's ticketed now.
What was the issue though?
Why are you taking money from people to enter? And my concept was very simple. If you are not going to pay, if you're not able to pay that 1 riyal to enter, you're not going to pay inside.
Oh, that's actually interesting because they have to pay for the food. It would be zahma al-fadhi, basically.
Zahma al-fadhi, right?
Oh, people are just going to roam around. I didn't think of it like that.
Yes,
I thought of it maybe as like profit, and 1 riyal for you to make as a profit is not too much to ask, in my opinion, when you're doing something like that. That's how I thought of it. However, on the flip side, I didn't think of this logical
so it's like a psychological. I actually thought about it again with the experience of HR, etc. I actually thought about it. Okay, 1 riyal. Because 1 riyal, if you pay that 1 riyal, you will pay inside because you have taken out money from your pocket to pay for the ticket. So then you are going to take out your wallet again to pay for the food. You're not just going to roam around and leave, right? So in different,
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. So it's actually, I've seen people personally. I've seen a bunch of young boys coming in and say, 1 riyal, no, we're not going to pay. They've actually left, and I've had them come back again and pay because they want to enter. And then they've started paying at the restaurants, paying with the vendors. And I remember the first time when I did masqat, I had vendors coming up to me and they telling me, nobody's going to come to this event. We just found out it's ticketed. Nobody's going to pay 1 riyal to enter. And I said, I want them to invest. I want them to, invest in you. If they're not going to pay that 1 riyal, they're not coming. You'll see a lot of zahma. You'll see a lot of crowd. Al-Fadhi. They're just going to roam around, maybe just get a drink and leave. Because everything around us is free. Your stage shows are free. The music is free. Entertainment is free. I want people. My target is to that when you come in with your family, I want you to stay in for 4 hours. Okay. And how do I make sure you stay for 4 hours? I give you a lot of entertainment. I give you a lot of activities. While you're enjoying entertainment activities, you're spending on the food. You're eating because you continuously want to eat. Food is a need. It's not a want.
Most of the time. Like it's needed for energy and for you to sustain yourself. But then, for example, when it's just in front of you and there's like extra popcorn and ice cream, you don't need that. But you want that.
You want that. But then, if you're, I've seen this as a difference when you go to an exhibition.
Okay.
You'll see something for 5 riyals and then you'll see a burger with a meal for 5 riyals. You're not hungry. But because it looks appealing, you'll spend on that 5 riyals, but you're not going to spend on that item that you want to. You really need that item for 5 riyals, but you're like, no, I'd rather spend that on the food.
Food draws people. Like, it draws you. I remember there was this one person that spoke to me once because we were watching this video and the girl was like, oh, I live to eat. He's like, I don't understand people who live to eat. It's you eat to live.
Yes.
And then for him, it's fine. Like, he will only eat when he's hungry. And if that means like having 1 banana at the end of the day because he remembered he was hungry. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. You're the strange one.
You're not living.
Like, exactly. No, but food joins people.
Yes.
You are the outlier here, not most people.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting part about what you mentioned. What question I have following that.
Sure.
A lot of people were against your decision to include tickets.
Yes.
How did that not affect you into changing your decision? Because you said some big names, government officials, the restaurant vendors themselves. That's a lot of pressure. That would make anyone question themselves. Am I doing the right thing?
Yes.
You stuck to your decision. Yes. And from my perspective, I thought it was just a profit thing, which is also fair.
It does, definitely, of course, add to it.
Okay, but that's fair in itself.
Yes.
But then you had a psychological reason behind it, which actually... it sounds quite sound,
Yes.
How did you stick to your decision despite all of the, I wouldn't say backlash, but despite all the people who disagreed with your decision or spoke to you about it?
Yeah.
Even officials?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I, as a child, my mother called me very stubborn.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But now that I've grown up, I can change that word and call it determined.
Okay, nice.
And I'm very passionate.
Okay.
Extremely.
So it didn't affect you?
It didn't affect me because I
Okay.
knew what I was doing. So when I know that I'm doing the right thing, I'm a risk taker.
Okay.
I'm a very big risk taker. So
Okay.
I know that, okay, this decision I know is right.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've put in the numbers. I've read I read a lot,
Okay.
and I know this was the right decision.
Okay. So based on that, you did not let them change your opinion?
No.
Okay. And obviously you don't regret it, and you even
No,
mentioned that
alhamdulillah.
a lot of them now implement this.
They have implemented it. Now, if you see Muscat municipality, recently they had this carnival in Muscat Nights. They had the ticket was 3 riyals.
They spoke to you about your 1 riyal ticket and they charged 3
3
riyals.
riyals, yeah, it was 3 riyals.
Okay.
It was 3 riyals.
Okay, nice.
So, I
Interesting.
mean, they're charging, and I have governors telling me, please charge. I
Okay.
still get a bit of backlash from other people. But the governor, the decision makers, tell me, do what you think is right.
How many did you say attended Muscat Eat last time?
Just this season, last season, 75,000.
75,000.
Yeah.
Okay. I've actually read the comments where,
Yes.
it's 1 riyal, no one's
Yeah,
going to come.
yeah.
And you had 75,000.
Yes.
Okay. That's enough for anyone to be like, oh, people aren't going to come. Okay. Ignore. Because sometimes people talk more than they take action. Sometimes. I don't
Yeah.
want to, okay, I'm trying not to say it
I'll
in a
give you
bad way.
I'll give you another example. I don't know if you want to edit this part or not, but influencers,
Yeah.
right? I think that end of the day, there are certain principles that I have, right?
Okay.
Where I firmly believe that, okay, yes, people say 1 riyal, nobody's going to come, or you're not going to pay this person, then nobody's going to come, right? And I work really hard to ensure a festival is memorable. Right?
Okay.
So are you really going to miss out on a memorable event or a festival just because of this? I don't think so.
Wait, I'm kind of confused because of
that 1 riyal ticket?
so people
Or if not getting paid, one, you're not going to pay that 1 riyal to enter. Or two, if I'm not going to, I can never pay somebody to come and attend the event. That's against my morals.
Okay, so you refuse to pay an influencer to just come and market your
Yes.
event?
Yes.
Okay.
Market the event pre. That is something that's the right way to go around it.
Okay.
But if you're going to call me and say, if you want me to attend the event,
Uh,
then you pay me for it. Then you pay for my ticket and pay me for it. I've actually told people you can't pay 1 riyal.
Okay, yeah, okay, now I'm curious. You've actually told, people
Yeah.
have actually called you. Influencers have actually
Yes.
called you telling you, if you want me to
Yes.
attend your event.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And it's not like you contacted them to
No,
tell them if you
no.
got, I would like you to attend, and then they asked for the payment.
No.
It's like
They call
want
me.
the invitation,
Yes.
tell you, pay me to come.
Yes. Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, I have comments, but I can't say them because I'm going to sound bad. But
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
that doesn't sound nice
It
even
doesn't.
for them. Yani,
It
come
doesn't
on.
sound nice for them. This is what I say to my team. It doesn't sound nice for them. I'm not egoistic. I'm not. I don't think I am, I'm very principled, yes. But I'm not egoistic. So, and
When someone comes off like that.
when someone comes off like that, I'll say, don't come. And they still come.
They
come. They come. It's content.
I'm sorry. I'm very interested in this. So they call you, tell you,
yes,
pay me,
yes,
or I will not attend.
Yes.
And then they still attend.
of course they do. They come and they pay the ticket. My team calls me, Sarah, they're here. Should we? I said, charge them.
Yeah, charge them.
Let them
Should
pay
we,
that 1
like,
riyal.
A lot
And they
of-
come. And the funny part is, they come, they take a 10-minute video on Snapchat and Instagram, whatever, and then they delete it after 10 minutes.
because you didn't pay them.
Because I didn't pay them. But then they covered. I mean, my purpose is achieved, right? Like you've marketed for 10 days. People have asked, where is it? And then you've deleted. Then people in curiosity are going to look for the space. And they're
That's
going
true.
to come.
No, that's very true. No, but then from one side, on the perspective of an influencer who that's what they do for a living and they want, I would understand if someone tells you, come, attend this event, market all of it for me,
Yes.
and then they ask for a payment. That is their right to get paid, because I'm not coming here for fun. I'm coming here because you
It's
asked me
work.
to cover. It is work for them.
Yes.
But to call
Yes.
and say that, like,
yeah.
if you want me to attend your event,
Yes.
Hina, what you said about the
Yes.
ego thing,
Yes.
it plays a big role, man. Like, so like, I am defending their right to get paid when they should get paid.
Yes.
But I'm not defending that right for them to demand that
Exactly.
my presence here
Exactly.
requires you to pay me. Hina, there is a balance that's required on their end, and there's also like, I don't know how to say this word in English, مراجعة نفس,
صح.
that they would need, because
exactly.
to reach to that stage of your thinking
exactly
means that you're a bit شايف نفسك. Okay. I like how you answered them though. That's like because many people would go, oh, we need the marketing. I love that you let your work speak for itself. You let the event speak for itself. You let the people who come and experience and go tell others speak for itself. And as you mentioned, the number you mentioned, 75,000.
Yeah.
That's not a small number.
No.
So.
And I work really, really hard for this.
Okay.
You know, I when I tell people, when I put it in my sponsorship deck that I will bring in 75,000 people for you, I work day and night to ensure these 75,000 people.
How do you estimate
attend.
that number?
Tickets.
Huh?
Tickets.
But don't you pay for a ticket on arrival?
Yeah, so it's serial number, right?
Wait, you're saying 75 attended
paid tickets
last year? Well, you're telling them I'm expecting
so next year. So I estimated. So what I do is, for example, like last year, 75,000 people attended. I add the 10% to it.
Oh, okay.
And then I work towards it. So my goal is, my KPI for myself is that number.
Okay.
Right? So I say, okay, I'm going to bring this for you. You know, I did that. I still remember. There's an interesting story. So when I did Masqat 1, I laugh about it is because, you know, as I said, I don't have a background in event management or festival management. I don't.
Okay.
Right? I come from the banking and hospitality industry. I've done my education in business administration. So no background, right? So when I decided to do Masqat, I said, I want a piece of land which is a lawn, which is a garden.
Okay.
You want to answer that? Okay. Which is a piece of garden. And I decided, I went around. I wanted Al Moj Golf, and it was a maintenance land, right? Now, I'm a firm believer of paperwork. So I got everything signed. They said, okay, why do you want this land? It's like a land that, no, it's called maintenance land. I said, no, I want it. Okay. And so when they got when Al Moj management got the proposal of Masqat, they saw 3 days she's telling us that she's going to bring 15,000. Sorry, you're not allowed to do the event.
Because? Isn't that good?
No, how are you going to manage these 15,000 people? And inti mean, who are you? Sorry.
Okay, and this was the first edition. So
edition.
They still didn't know who you were.
They didn't know who I am, and they have the right. Who are you, and how are you going to bring 15,000 people? How are you going to manage these 15,000 people? Our name, our image, our brand, what are you going to do? Anyways, I was lucky because I got everything signed because they wanted to cancel it.
After you had gotten the initial approval?
Yeah. Okay. But I got all the paperwork signed. That's why I tell everybody, paperwork. Very important. Don't go on anything which is verbal. Got everything signed, alhamdulillah. And this came up and they said, okay, you can do it because all the paperwork is signed. But your conditions are, you're not allowed to mass market the event. No print media. No mass marketing. No bulk SMS.
So are you supposed to get 15,000 people?
I said, okay.
Huh? Okay.
I said, okay. So what I did is then, they said no print media, right? They said no bulk SMS. They didn't mention, they wrote that. I said, okay, khalas, write it for me. They said, okay, we'll write it. To my contract, it was very clearly written, no print media, no bulk SMS, no mass marketing. So I didn't do any of that. What I did, it's a digital age.
Social media.
I got not just social media. I had Talabat. Talabat just started at that point. So I told Talabat, they had a huge database. I said, send push notifications. Because you don't open, when you get an ad as a message, you don't open the message. You see it on your screen and you remember it.
Okay.
Right? So it just has to show up on your screen. And it takes, and you'll just read it for 5 seconds and your memory will remember it, of course. Right? Bank Masqat, I managed, alhamdulillah, to get them on board. I told them on all across your ATM machines, please send out emailers to all your staff and push notifications. They did that. Arman Refreshment, they did that. That's how I got the 15,000 people.
Despite the fact that you weren't allowed to mass market and everything, you found a way.
Yes, that's how I did it.
And you got 15,000
I got 15,000 people. The CEO of Al Moj had attended and I got a message that he said, well done. We're so happy. She has to be here always.
Nice.
So that was, at that point, I was just a nobody who decided to do this. And post that event, I got recognized by Ministry of Tourism because, it was something I just did it on my own. Right.
Okay.
And I utilized the parking outside, Kimji's house. I love them. It's the event is right. I love them because not once in the last 5 years
did they complain
they complain or say anything.
Despite the fact it's like all over their house.
It's all over their house. Haram. Like I feel bad. Like imagine the entry and exit for them because the RP shuts off the road. So how do they do that?
And the cars are parked all around their house anyway.
So they never ever. I've not gotten one phone call as a complaint from them. So, and music and, people, youngsters.
Have you spoken to them though before?
No.
Like telling them, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, there'll be this event and everything. They just accepted and they were fine.
Yeah.
Hello.
Which was very nice of them.
صح.
Very supportive because they knew, I'm sure they knew who's doing it by now, right? So they knew that, okay, this is, after 2 weeks, I've got a burger festival that's happening. Same location. Muscat has moved from there. But because it cannot handle the load, the amount of people like daily are getting.
So wait, so it's no longer where?
No, it's not in Al Moj anymore.
That Kimji location هناك?
No, it's not there anymore. It cannot take it.
Can you say where it will be? Well, not yet.
No, I'm yet to finalize, but it's a much bigger location, much better parking.
Okay.
So I am expecting.
You don't have to exercise before and after.
No, inshallah. Like it's. I'm happy I got this location.
Okay.
It was just a very random location that I was driving around and I saw it and I said I want this.
Okay.
So very good location and it's central, so it'll be good. But yeah, so I was given these challenges. Initially, I remember when there was somebody else asked me that, why did you even agree to go ahead? You didn't pay anybody, or nobody paid you. You didn't have any, debts on you that you had to, or any contract with people. And I said no, because I wanted to do this. I had in mind that I want to do this, and I went ahead. I still remember Al-Moj calling me and laughing, and I said, the team started laughing. They said, "You did it." I said, "Yes, I did it."
Okay. I was actually having a conversation with someone, and what we talked about in that conversation, you are living proof that I believe maybe what I was saying was kind of correct. I was telling someone that successful people, mashallah, which alhamdulillah you are, inshallah, even more success to you in the future.
Inshallah.
When they are given a challenge or a block or an obstacle, instead of saying, no, I won't do it, they can find a way around it. Whereas many people who might not be as successful, and that's also for me at times, in certain aspects, it's like, okay, you can't do it like this. Khalas, this person is stopping me.
Yeah.
I had dreams. This person crushed all of my dreams because they did this. My argument was that life is unfair.
Yes.
People don't trust in you. They don't believe in you.
Yeah.
The people who might sometimes are the ones who are supposed to be supporting you,
yes,
supporting the people, supporting whatever, are the ones who sometimes might give you the no,
yes,
put the obstacle in your course,
yes,
give you the challenge that you may even break because of the challenge that they've given you.
Yeah.
However, it is your decision to keep going, and when you decide to keep going, you might get ideas on how to do it, how to surpass this obstacle or this challenge. This is exactly what you did.
Yes.
You, first of all, you were very smart. And this is something that I love that I actually fell into the mistake the first time. And then I had to, be smarter the next time in terms of paperwork.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, you will get people. And it's not like some people oh, here in our country. It's not in our country. Anything you do, any business you go into, any transaction you do, someone can end up like, oh, I didn't say that. Even though it was a very clear verbal communication. You can have messages, they can delete the messages. Whatever it is, you need your paperwork. You need the signatures. You need everything. So you were smart in doing that. The second thing is when you were faced with an obstacle that they presented to you, even though at the end it was them who benefited from what you had to do, you could have easily said, I had big dreams for this country. I had big dreams to make Muslim something. I was going to bring Al Moj business, for example, when I do something like this.
Yeah.
However, what you ended up doing was finding a way around it and going to speak and everything.
Yes.
Was it challenging? 100%, I'm sure it was. Was it annoying? Probably.
Yes, it was.
Okay? Because you are trying to do something that will benefit the masses and instead they're making it more difficult for you. From their perspective, maybe understandable because at that point you still hadn't done.
Yeah, they're like, who's she?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Sometimes it might be understandable why the other party might do something like that. Other times it might not be.
Yeah.
But it is your decision as a human being to decide, no, I will find another way around it.
Yes.
I believe most successful people that I have had the, alhamdulillah, blessing to speak to have mentioned what you have mentioned. This was the particular challenge and this was my way around it.
Yeah. You always have to look for loopholes. I say this to my team now.
Okay.
Always look for loopholes. Don't ever accept a no. there's always
a way.
There's always a way.
Okay.
And I am somebody, if somebody says no, I always tell them, I'll make it a yes. I'm like that.
Okay.
I say, okay, you say no. But again, you know, my mom always says, again, it's a skill as a child that we used to say no to you. Like, I still want it.
Okay. So what you want, you try to get.
What I want, I have to get it.
Okay.
Like, I will not try.
No, determined.
It's a determination that I've actually realized. You know, I was speaking to a school friend of mine recently, and she said, Sarah, how come we didn't, you know, what we see in you, why didn't we ever, nobody recognized this when you were in school? You know, this should have been recognized because you are, you know, you take the way you take challenges is so remarkable, and then the way you convert them. How can we never recognize this in school? You have this certain drive. And I said, yeah, very good question. But I'm glad, like, okay, 20 years back, schools didn't, but now schools do recognize this. You know, I ask this question a lot, and I'm saying this on air, but I am, when I say I'm the sole and premier of how I introduce myself, festival organizers in the country, I am still the only entrepreneur or woman or person in this country who is organizing festivals. The only one, right? No other.
Okay.
When I've sat down at the ministry and asked them this question, they're like, why are you complaining? Be happy that you're the only one.
Okay.
You should be happy that inti luhida. And I'm like, I'm not happy.
You want more. You want other women to do this.
I want other women to do it. I want other women to, I want healthy competition.
Okay.
Right? We learn from each other. I'm never worried. You know, if somebody comes up to me and says, Sarah, you've got Masqat Eid happening at the same time, you've got another event by another company or Oman to OCC happening, and I'm like, good. People have a choice.
They attend this and they attend that. Whatever
People
they want.
have a choice, you know, and it's good. It's healthy. Competition is healthy. Competition is good. You learn from each other. It's very important that we open those doors to learn from each other. That's the only way we will, right? And I want to create more Saras. I keep on saying this to everybody. I want more Saras to come out. I want people to enter this industry because it's an industry where you're actually, you know, how we talk about Vision 2040, tourism. You know, people now, I'm sure you agree with me, people travel for experience.
Concerts, festivals, different kinds of things.
You travel for that, and you travel, how do you give a person an experience of your country?
Food is one of the best ways. Events,
yes,
cultural events.
Yes, when you start marketing, like I've seen multiple countries, our neighboring countries marketing themselves. They start with come to something. We have festivals, then they get into whatever else they have. Dubai, I said this recently to a colleague of mine. Dubai, why is Dubai? How come Dubai has all these investors and where Dubai is at the moment? They started with festivals.
They did?
Yes.
Okay.
Dubai Shopping Festival.
Oh.
They started with Dubai Shopping Festival.
Okay.
And the other festivals they created. That's when people started coming in. That's how they marketed. They marketed themselves through the festivals.
Okay.
Come to my country. Come and see what we have to offer. When they come down, you show them your country. They see your culture, your investments, your assets, etc. And then they want to invest. This is the first step. And I feel like it's one of the most important steps. Like I've sat down with them and explained to them that we have to work on the sector. We have to have more Omanis entering the sector.
Okay.
Because we are going to achieve, you know, in a serious tone, we are going to achieve what we are trying to achieve for Vision 2040. You're ticking all those boxes.
Okay.
All right.
So,
And competition is good. Competition is healthy. I don't like calling it competition. But it's good because you know, if you see me, like for example, now you create a festival, you'll learn from what I'm doing. I'm learning from what you're doing.
Okay. I mean, I've had a series of interviews with women for this Omani Women's Day.
Yeah.
And then yesterday or before yesterday, we went to Demaniyat. It was like an all-girls trip.
Yeah.
None of the women know each other.
Yes.
But there was such a big sense of each one supporting the other. So for example, I don't like jumping off of boats into an ocean. Okay. But then I had a bunch of women behind me like, you can do it. You can. I don't know them. Yeah. I've never met them.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of the concept where many people go like, men are supportive. Again, this is not a man-woman thing. I'm also not like one of these feminists together. But I am saying something that I've actually heard a lot.
Yeah.
Women don't support women. Women are in like catty competition with each other. Women don't like to see each other succeed. I've heard this from women themselves telling me this.
It's not true.
I believe that a woman who is secure
Yes.
in herself
Yes.
is a woman who wants to see other women succeed.
Yes.
And outside of this, my example of what I mentioned, like when I went to that trip, the old ladies trip, we don't know each other. And I've noticed that women are very supportive of each other. I've seen that multiple times. And you coming in and saying, I'm the only woman doing this. I don't want to be the only woman doing this.
Yeah.
This is a very clear example that women do support each other, and successful women should support other women to grow and become as successful as they are.
Yes.
I love that you mentioned that. I love that you said, I don't want to be the only woman doing this. And when they're telling you should be happy, why should you be happy?
Yeah.
صح, no, that's such a good point. And حتى some other people I spoke to, so for example, Marwa al-Wadahi, she was the only and first female on the Oman national weightlifting team. She dragged a bunch of women with her. Like, I don't want to be the only one doing this.
Yeah.
Not because she can't. She can. I mean, she has trained with men alone and all that stuff. She has proven herself as a woman, mashallah, in this field. Mashallah. However, she wanted other Omani women to be there with her as she does it. She wanted other women to, be a part of the national team, lift up that flag when they go in competitions and everything. Women do support each other.
Of course they do.
You, Marwa, other women are examples of that. And that idea of the whole, like, women don't want to see each other succeed.
That's not true.
I don't think so. A few here and there.
Of course.
Maybe insecure women.
The word is secure, as you said.
Yeah.
You actually used the perfect word.
Aywa.
Secure.
Yeah.
If
and most women actually are, by the way.
They are secure.
In themselves.
Yes.
Like, there's a mentality that most women are insecure. It's only the ones we see who are successful, who are... Actually, most women are secure and they want to help each other. Here and there, you'll find the ones who may need to work on themselves a bit more to reach that level of security. But that minority does not prove the women don't want to see each other succeed. Yes. Women are lifting each other up. Women like you who come on here and mention something like this, where I don't want to be the only woman doing this. This is a clear example.
Yes.
And I love that you brought that up. Very important concept, I think.
Yeah.
And on Omani women, we should mention that Omani women want to help each other reach somewhere. And they should. Like, for example, what you brought to this country. Not only the fact that, okay, we've never had something like that. We've seen it in neighboring countries, but we haven't seen it here. Who brought it here?
Yeah.
A woman.
Yes.
You're a woman, you brought it here.
Yeah.
What did you say? The contribution to the country, how much?
In country value, more than 1.6 million Omani riyals.
Okay.
This is just the EAT brand.
And who brought this?
I did.
A woman.
Yes, a woman.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to highlight that. I know I'm putting it in a picture where I'm like, but the thing is, I want to highlight the fact that a woman did this. Okay, so imagine how much contribution a woman can bring to this country.
Yeah.
Just like a man can bring to this country.
Course.
Both of you can bring things like that to the country. So again, yes, more women, more men, whatever. Just
together.
Like Oman needs people who are ambitious to build it up.
Yes.
And the thing is, alhamdulillah, what I love about our country is that we have a lot of people who we love our country.
Yes.
What I love is I hear a lot of people say, we want to serve Oman.
Yes.
Okay, and the more we like, people like you drag others who are like maybe انت تشوفي حد غيرك like younger than you and something, and you're like, come along, you do what I do. The more we have that, the more we will build the country that we all love.
Exactly.
I love that we have the mentality of bringing something to our country. So
no, and I've seen that. I agree with you. The love that we have for our country, I haven't seen that.
As much as people go like, everyone loves their country.
No. I've not seen such love. I've actually, a lot of, as you said, successful people who are in the field, who are not even in the field. When we talk about our country, everybody just wants to serve, right? And they said, give me an opportunity and I will, right? Just give me the opportunity and I will. Some people look for opportunities, some people make their own opportunities, but it's just that opportunity part. Once you're given that, you want to do anything and everything possible to showcase your country, because you know the value of your country, right? And yes, as you said, secure. And, I'm working with, I have girls working with me, and I keep telling them that I see this in you. It's going to be challenging, but it's worth it. Because, the sense, when you come to a festival, you see the sense of achievement or the pride that for me is when I see people laughing, having a great time, have random women and men coming to me who somehow know who I am, because I don't wear the badge.
Okay.
I don't do any of that. Even though I've been told this, at least wear the badge.
So people know who you are.
I don't do that.
Okay.
Again, I don't want, because then it puts you in a spotlight, and I don't want to be in the spotlight. I'm everywhere. I'm working.
Okay.
That's my workplace. But I've had people asking who I am, and then coming to me, and I've had random people coming up and women hugging me and saying, "We're so proud of you. How did you do this?"
Because you're inspiring them, even though you might not do it on purpose. You actually are inspiring
Alhamdulillah, them. Which feels so good. I mean, end of the day, all the hard work and the sleepless nights. And one more story. I mean, for me, one of I was asked this question recently: what makes you smile the most when you think about Masqatit or the brand or etc.? I remember when I did the 3rd edition of Masqatit, I went to pick up my son from school. He was in grade 3.
Okay.
And, I went to pick him up, and he suddenly runs to a parent and says, "I saw you at Masqatit." And they're like, "Yeah, we were there. It was such a great event." He was having fun, and he looked back and he pointed out to me, "She did it. My mom did it."
Oh.
And he was I saw pride on my, 7-year-old's face. And I was like, he's so proud. The way he said, "She did it. My mom did this." And they were like, "Oh, this is," so they were so happy. And they came to me and said, "Your son is so proud of you." And I said, yes, of that, for me, like I didn't know how to react. Because, for your little boy to say this out loud was just, so that for me, I'm like,
to see the pride in
to
his
see the
face.
pride, and for him to say, "Okay, this," and he understands this, is just the one of the best moments for me. And now, mashallah, he's 11. He's turning 11, and he understands that Mama is working. Mama loves to work, and she wants to do 1, 2, 3. We have these conversations.
Okay.
Right? I want to achieve this.
Conscious discussions with your young ones.
Very open, conscious. They're my friends. I always say them, that you're my friend. I cannot speak to you as a mother. Only when it comes down to education, that's when I'm going to speak to you as a mother.
Oh, God.
But I feel like it's very important to have that relationship, and for them to understand, as at this age, for a boy to understand, and for my daughter, that we are supposed to, women are capable, and women are, there's no difference, and we are, we're all there to serve the country. So
they see that in their own mother as an example, which of course they will implement.
They will implement it.
Because they saw it at home.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us for this interview.
Pleasure.
I actually really enjoyed this conversation.
Likewise.
And I hope it benefits whoever listens, because there were many things you mentioned that I believe are beneficial for those who are listening.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.